My name is Mike Wasson, and I'm privileged to be a member of the Engage Estero Board of Directors. And it's a true honor for me to be able to welcome you tonight to this event. It's our 25th year celebration, and that's quite a number of years to be an organization. And we come together to commemorate Engage Estero's impact over the years and reaffirm our commitment to enhancing the quality of life in the community that we live. Since our humble beginnings, we have continuously aimed to be a beacon of research and communication. And that was true in 1999 as a grassroots organization when we were known as ECCL. And it was true in 2004 with our evolution into the nonprofit ECCL, or the Estero Council of Community Leaders. And it's even true still further with our rebranding of Engage Estero name in 2023. And we did that right here in this room when we announced it. So over the past 25 years, we, and I say we collectively, have tirelessly dedicated ourselves to research and communication and ensuring that our community will thrive. But this evening is not merely a celebration of accomplishment and longevity. It's a moment to actually recognize the invaluable role that each of you has played in our success. Now, it don't make any difference. There's no matter the level of time or the talents that you bring to the table or the financial support you offer us or providing the insights that you empower citizens to make informed and impactful decisions. It don't make any difference of how you make a contribution. Your contribution is appreciated. And so tonight, what we want to do is simply say thank you to each and every one of you. Thank you for your contribution. And that's what we're celebrating tonight as well. Now, as part of tonight's agenda, we're going to hear some brief remarks from some key individuals who have significantly contributed to our mission. Bob Lienesch will be our first speaker, and Bob was a dedicated member of ECCL from 2011 to 2019. He served as the treasurer, as a controller, and he was on the CFO. He participated in the Village of Estero Incorporation Committee, and he was the chair of the Finance Advisory Committee. Our second speaker, Jim Gilmartin. He's currently Engage Estero's president. He has led various committees in the organization, the Communications Committee, the Education Council, and he was appointed president of the organization in August of 2019. Our third speaker, Brawley Adams. I commonly refer to him as my cousin. There's a story about that. I won't go into that, but Brawley is also a valued member of the Engage Estero Board of Directors. He's also president of the Business Success Advisors, Inc. Brawley's expertise has added immense value to our organization. We appreciate the time he serves. He's going to speak to you and talk about the youth in the future, and maybe, I understand, have a couple jokes. Is that right, Brawley? Finally, there's one other person we need to thank, and that is we need to thank the management here at Rapella for allowing us to use this facility. They're very gracious of them. So it exemplifies the collaborative spirit that makes our community thrive. And so we say thank you finally to Rapella for, there he is, to Propeller for letting us use this facility. Thanks for coming. Let's get on with the program so we can continue to have some information. And Bob, if you want to step up and take over.
Well, thank you, Mike. For those of you that don't know, I'm Bob Lienesch, a proud Estero resident now for, gee whiz, almost 20 years. Boggles my mind that it's been that long. I'm going to refer this evening and quote a couple times from this book, Forging a Path by Alan Bowditch, which was published by the ECCL a few years ago. It contains a lot of history and facts, and gee whiz, I hate to tell you this, but I'm not going to go into all of it. When I was contacted about speaking tonight, frankly, I was a bit surprised. I thought, why in the world are they calling me? And I realized maybe it had something to do with my 10 years of experience with the ECCL. But then I realized, you know, Jim, he's a sly guy. What he really needed was a warm-up act. So you're in luck, or not in luck, because I'm the warm-up act. But you know, most warm-up acts start with a joke, right? I got some bad news, no jokes. But I do have a question for you. Thinking back to the 25-year history of the ECCL and Engage Estero, what were you doing 25 years ago? What significant worldwide event were you thinking and talking about 25 years ago? Anybody want to venture a guess? Spoken like a true banker, Y2K. Because we were all concerned the banks were going to go belly up, the world was going to come to an end because they couldn't progress to Y2K. Well, while the world was thinking about that, there were some people here in Estero that were thinking about other things. And they were a group, and I'm quoting now again from Alan, a group of community-minded residents who wanted Estero to forge its own path, rather than look like and feel like every other town on the Florida coast. In fact, 25 years ago, that group of community-minded residents formed, as was discussed earlier by Mike, the ECCO, which then morphed into the ECCL, which today we know is the Engage Estero, or, you know, E, a lot of E's. Over that 25-year period of time, tremendous changes have occurred. The names of some of those early residents, those early community-minded residents, are sometimes overlooked. People like Jim Ramsberg, Arnie Rosenthal, Sam Levy, Bill Brown, Dan Dronkers, and Neil Natelick. Many of you in this room may know some of them. I knew just one of them personally. But there were many other early pioneers who contributed for at least 15 of the last 25 years. And some of these are people that you may know. The late Scotty Wood, member of the ECCL's South Lee Hospital Planning Committee, that was so responsible for bringing Lee Health to Estero. Former chair of the ECCL's planning panel and chair of Estero's, boy, this is a word, Estero's Planning, Zoning, and Design Board. Nick Matos, former ECCL chair who led the Incorporation effort so successfully, who was also one of the first of the 7 village council persons in our first village mayor, all from the ECCL background. Jim Bosch, longtime ECCL board member. He was elected as one of the first village council people and one of our mayors. And of course, one person who founded the ECCL and who led the organization for over 18 years, a man with overwhelming passion that so many of us do, a man that we all knew and loved, a man known as Mr. Estero, whose name has become legendary, our dear friend, the late Don Eslick. And how proud Don would be to be here today to see the 25th anniversary of his organization. So there have been countless people over the years, but some of the longer-term people that continue to serve in our community are Jim Gilmartin, longtime ECCL board member and current president of Engage Estero; Jim Shields, longtime ECCL board member, recognized leader of many initiatives in the education fields, and winner of the Don Eslick Estero Person of the Year Award last year in its inaugural award. And then Joe Pavich Sr., chairperson of Engage Estero, business community leader, longtime ECCL supporter, who along with his lovely wife Joni will be recipients of the second Estero Don Eslick Man of the Year Award, Person of the Year Award. So what have we accomplished in the last 25 years? There's a lot of names. What have we been doing? Well, obviously the thing we're most well known for is preventing the annexation by Bonita Spriggs of Estero, preventing the proposed I-75 interchange at Coconut Point, which was the subject of a lot of illegalities, shall we say, that were going on in Washington at the time, assuring the high-class design and development of Coconut Point and Walmart. Jack, I'm sure you remember those years on the planning panel. Reducing overhead noise from Estero from flights to and from RSW. And then, most importantly, probably, limiting the mining of our two most important aquifers here in Southwest Florida. Well, now there's another second question for you. Don't worry, Jim, I'm coming to the end, buddy.
Thank God.
Nothing like having support up in the front. What one word describes all of these people, all of these hundreds of people that have been leaders and members of the ECCL? One word.
Passion.
Passion, that's one. That's not the one I had.
Dedication. Dedication.
Dedication, that's number two.
Volunteers.
Hey, you get the award. Give that man a second drink. Thank you, George. So many of these people, whether they were snowbirds or not, were all dedicated volunteers. When I came to Florida, I didn't realize volunteers meant you worked your butts off but never got paid for it. Jack didn't tell me about that. But each of these people gave their time and devoted their talents to making this, and I'm quoting again from Alan Bowditch, Estero one of the best places to live, work, visit, and play. So in conclusion, volunteers and supporters alike, thank you for your friendship. Thank you for your support and your service. You and your fellow-minded, community-minded residents have made Estero truly a village with a vision. So with that, I would like to turn it over to my esteemed colleague, the president of Engage Estero, Jim Gilmartin.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
What I'm going to do is follow up with the kinds of things that Bob talked about, but I'm going to focus on just Estero, Engage Estero. And I'm going to talk to you about who we are, what we believe in, the kinds of things that are important to us that really make our culture. And the culture is basically attitudes, behaviors, and beliefs of organizations that really sets the tone for any organization at all. So I wanted to spend some time on sharing what we believe in as well. So who are we? We are a nonpartisan, non-political organization. We've been designated by the IRS as a 501c3, and we're an organization that remains neutral in political matters. Now, we do that because of choice, but we also do that because as a 501c3, you can't get involved in politics and maintain a 501c3 designation. Can't do it. So both of those issues tell us that stay out of politics, be nonpartisan, and do the best you can to help people. Our purpose, or why we exist, is basically to provide research that are based on facts and unbiased insights on important issues, significant issues, to the people in the village of Estero, helping them to make informed decisions to improve their life. That's really what our purpose is all about. There's a lot behind all of that, We do a lot of well-researched information. That information is fact-based, and we keep it as possible, any way we possibly can, unbiased. We are not in the advocacy business. Now, at one time, the ECCL was heavily involved in that, but they had to be. They had to be. There were reasons that they had to advocate, they had to push, they had to pressure, they had to do whatever they could to get the village to where it is today. Well, they've done those wonderful things. We don't have to do that anymore. What we have to do is keep people informed about what's the truth. Avoid misinformation about the kinds of things that are happening in the village of Estero. And if it's good, tell you it's good. And if it's bad, say, you make your decision. But we give you facts, and that's what we're all about. So how do we do that? You know, what do? We conduct research, we organize regional public forums, produce reports, write articles, we conduct educational outreach, we carry out surveys, we collaborate with selected organizations to enhance your quality of life. Now, it's really unfortunate, I have to say this, but you should know. One of the organizations that we collaborate with is the Calusa Waterkeeper. You may be aware that we've lost the Calusa Waterkeeper. Cody Pierce, great guy, Captain Cody Pierce, young man, no longer with us, January 13th. So I'm really very sad to say that. But we also work very closely with FGCU and other organizations that we think are going to be able to raise our voice in your behalf. As simply one organization waving one flag doesn't have the power of a half a dozen organizations waving their flag and telling the story as it is from different perspectives. Our vision, we aspire to really making Estero a knowledgeable, engaged, and connected community where active residents contribute to a high quality of life. The positive word there is active. We try to encourage people to be engaged, to do what they can. If they need help, they can reach out to us. We'll do what we can to provide tools and experience that we have to help you do the kinds of things you're looking to do. That's where the power is. It's with the people. It's not with Engage Estero. It's with the people that are here in this audience and elsewhere who have a desire to make this village the best it possibly can be. We believe a united community is a strong community. Connections among residents and collaboration among organizations really lead to a resilient community. We believe that the urbanization results in community opportunities and challenges. We are going through an urbanization here. Those of you who don't understand that, do a little research. Urbanization is taking place, so you have to be prepared for that and to understand what you can and cannot do to improve your quality of life. Sustainable growth improves our quality of life today while ensuring that future generations can enjoy it as well. That means we do smart things, and we encourage people to do that as well. We believe that every voice matters. Engage Estero helps you to have a strong voice in our community, as I just mentioned it. By fostering meaningful conversations, we ensure that residents' opinions and concerns are heard, and we do that through a variety of vehicles. We believe that misinformation is a killer. Misinformation shapes community uncertainty. Misinformation can unintentionally lead to a community that is mistrustful and disengaged. We don't want that to happen. So we give you the truth, the facts. We are moving towards, we aim to be the go-to organization for factual information on any issue that's of substance and importance in Estero. We believe a thriving community requires trust. Encouraging transparency, providing unbiased information, fosters a common and accurate understanding of local issues. We also believe that Engage Estero is unique. Engage Estero serves as a central hub for sharing information, fostering dialogue, and facilitating connections within the community. We provide tools to help people create a better future. And we are unique. There's no other organization like Engage Estero, just like there was no other organization like the ECCL in Southwest Florida. None. None do what we're doing right now. There are a number of publications that give you insights into the what's going on in the village in Southwest Florida, but none are doing the kind of research, the kinds of time we take to fact-find everything we say to the public. We also have a community impact fund. This impact fund really helps us do a lot of different things. It's an investment in Engage Estero. It's this community impact fund offers resources to assist those in urgent needs during disasters. We did that during Hurricane Ian, providing research based on facts and impartial, unbiased information, and facilitating collaboration with others. This impact fund is something that you could go to easily at esterotoday.com and give us a little bit of a dollar. It'll help us any way you possibly can. Or you can volunteer. If you're not subscribing to our information, you could get that. Attend meetings like you're doing right now, and of course, as I mentioned, donate. So what we'd like you to do is join us in 2025. We really are thankful for you and the others that are not here tonight. By the way, this was by an invitation-only meeting. We didn't send it out to a broad community. We sent it out to people who were involved with the ECCL. We sent it out to people who have, in fact, donated and given us some of the dollars, they're hard-earned dollars as well, but they're helping us. We are really appreciative and are thanking you. Through public forums, newsletters, et cetera, we will focus and educate the community on critical topics such as traffic, new developments, the environment, and much more. So, on that, I thank you for your help during the past. I would appreciate you continuing to do that with us at Engage Estero. Of course, if you have any questions for any of us, there are several of us here. You met Mike Wasson. You're going to be hearing Brawley talk to you. You've met me. Terry Flanagan is here as well. Come up and talk to us and tell us what you have on your mind. You can visit engageestero.com and you can find out all about us on the organizational link. And you could in fact learn about what we're doing and how we've served Engage Estero over the future. So, on that, thank you. On that, I'm going to invite my favorite board member. Who's he? Who's he? I'm going to invite Brawley Adams to come up and say a few words. Brawley is one of our newest guys, and look at him. I want you, come here, Brawley. Stand next to me, Brawley. Look at Brawley and look at me. We're getting the youth. The youth. We're getting it.
Little does Jim know, me and my wife are moving in 3 weeks. Yeah. No. Thank you all for coming. Each and every meeting, event, activity I go to in Estero, I learn more about the past and what you individuals like yourselves have done to really make it what it is today. So I want to start off by just give yourselves a round of applause for what you guys have done in leadership. Like Jim said, my name is Brawley Adams. I'm a 6th generation Floridian. I grew up in a very, very small town called Bartow, Florida. If anyone knows where that is, we're known for 2 things, oranges and our sheriff. We have a pretty cool sheriff. So the first time I actually came to Estero was in 2009 for a cross-country meet over at Estero Community Park. And when we left, it was such a hard race, I told my mom I never want to come back to this place again. So little did I know, 15 years later, I would be here with my wife, my business, and a newborn. So God works in mysterious ways. When Bob was talking about where were you in 1999 and what were you really thinking about, my mind went in a totally different direction. I was probably worried about the newest G.I. Joe or something like that. So I've had the pleasure now of sitting as a board member for Engage Estero for about a year, learning a lot of great things under these gentlemen that have kind of walked in my shoes throughout life, throughout business, and it's been a real pleasure. At first, I thought Jim was recruiting me because he wanted me to implement a lot of my newer perspectives and ideas and things like that. Little did I know his real motives were just to get me to speak here tonight. So I looked up a few different things preparing for this speech. The word estero actually comes from the Latin word astuarium, if anyone didn't know that. And when that English translation essentially means estuary or inlet. At least that's what ChatGPT told me. So actually, estuaries themselves and the village of Estero have a few different things in common. The first one is sometimes estuaries are referred to as nurseries of the sea. There were fish and different organisms go to reproduce and build families. And that's really why I wanted to get involved, because if I'm going to raise a family in a place, I want to make sure that I'm doing everything in my power to make sure it's the best place to raise someone. And so there's some similarities there. Two, estuaries help clean the water. Dirty water that's coming out of the rivers, before it flows into the ocean, the estuary helps clean that water. I think Estero can be a place where people come to get revitalized, whether it's through the healthcare that we have, the different recreations and the activities that we have, so that we can help revitalize the other areas around us, like Bonita Springs, Naples, Fort Myers, Cape Coral, things of that nature. And three, estuaries are a place where migratory birds go to rest. And so in Estero, I like to call them snowbirds. That was the big one, so you're not getting anything as good as that. Yeah. I believe I have a lot in common with a lot of you in this room. For those of you that are in this room because you had an impact in Estero, whether it's through Engage Estero, through being on the city council, through having a business in Estero, I want to thank you, and I hope to accomplish half of the things that you guys have accomplished. For those of you that are in this room because you heard there was free food and booze, I get it too. I have a toddler at home and he eats all my food, so thank you for being here. Estero's not only a place I want to raise a family, but it's a city that I want to positively impact to allow other people to have the ability to raise families, grow their businesses, retire in safety and peace, and have things of that as well. As a business owner, I admire what Engage Estero has done. Maybe it's not a business, but I like to look at it as a business over the years. In my opinion, a successful business has three different things. The leadership has a vision, and whether that's Jim Gilmartin, who I've had the pleasure of working with this past year, or any of the past leadership through Engage Estero, they have to have a vision of what they want in the future. And I'm sure some of you in this room have been able to look back and say, wow, we've actually come somewhere and we've achieved things. So when I have this party for the 50th anniversary of Engage Estero in 25 years, I hope that I'm able to say, wow, we actually accomplished a lot of things. A successful business has employees, it has staff, it has people that actually put in the effort. That's what a lot of the volunteers that we have that have worked with us do. I hope to continue to get more young people involved, help grow that aspect of it so that we can not only contribute to what Engage Estero is doing, but all the other small organizations that are in Estero that help support each other. We can work as a community to all kind of support each other and do it as one. And then a third thing is good financial management. I know Jim does that. He actually allowed me to invest all of Engage Estero's money in Bitcoin. So you guys are safe and secure for the future, okay? But I believe Engage Estero displays all three of these things, and that's why I'm going to continue supporting it and being involved for the years to come. A lot of young people ask me what Engage Estero is because they hear that I'm involved in some capacity. And at first I really didn't know, right? I would just quote, inform, engage, impact, I don't even know, impact the community. But what I like to tell them is what Engage Estero is going to become over the years is really the vision that I want to portray when I help recruit young people to be more involved in this organization. To wrap up with a quote from one of my favorite car manufacturers, Henry Ford, coming together is the beginning, keeping together is progress, and working together is success. In 2009, Engage Estero came together with a vision for a better Estero. It has been kept together over the years from fearless leaders like Jim and those of you in the room that have supported it and volunteered. And it's going to continue to grow and progress because we're going to work together to achieve that vision that we're all trying to get to. My wife and I have had an incredible 2004 living here in Estero. It's our first year as residents in Estero. And she asked me how 2025 is going to be. And I told her as long as we stay and live in Estero, the next year will always be the best year. So that's my hope for Estero as we move forward. I'd like to raise a toast to those that have served us, to those that aren't with us anymore, and to those that will be joining us in the future to help make this a wonderful city to live in, to raise kids in, to retire in, things of that nature. So, toast, cheers here. Here, here. Thank you all again. I'm going to give it back to our fearless leader, Jim.
I had trepidations. I didn't know what was going to come out of his mouth. That was good. That was good, Brawley. Well, listen, I'm going to wrap it up very quickly. I do appreciate Bob Lienesch coming here. I remember Bob very well when he had some hair. It was a long time ago. And he was very, very good at what he did. It wasn't just finance work. It was getting people together, getting people to trust what was going on. And I can't leave this podium without mentioning Don Eslick. You heard Bob talking about him. Don Eslick was a different kind of guy. He was a kind of guy who, when you met for the first time, you felt you knew him for a long time. Just easygoing, smiled all the time. His heart was big, his soul was bigger. I mean, he was just a terrific guy. When I was asked to replace Don when he was retiring, the board asked me to be the president of the ECCL. I wasn't really sure why, but they did, and I turned them down. And then they asked me again, and I turned them down again. And then they asked me again, and I took the job. But I said to them, I'm going to give you a letter, and in that letter, I'm going to tell you what my requirements are. If you can meet my requirements, then I'll be happy to take it on, and I'll do it for a guarantee of 6 months, and then after 6 months, we'll both make a decision, do you want me to continue on with it? And they said, okay. Well, the first thing I said, the first requirement was, I had to ask my wife, and if she said okay, I'll do it. That's fact. My wife said okay, and I'll do it. The second thing I said to them is I believe in a concept in business called servant leadership. And what that means is you don't do everything and get all the accolades. You spread it around. You go to people and you tell them, you get involved in this, you take care, you get the accolade. Because when you're running a volunteer organization to begin with, there's no way that you're going to be paying them any dollars. So there's no incentive other than the satisfaction of doing something that makes them feel good and good for the community. And they agreed with the servant leadership concept, because what that meant was it wasn't going to be me doing everything at everything that the ECCL or Engage Estero now does. The last thing I said to them was, it's very important if Engage Estero, or at the time ECCL, was going to succeed, it was going to succeed if we became an IRS designated 501c3 organization, nonprofit 501c3 organization, for a variety of different reasons. Number one, I talked to you right in the beginning. We're not political, we're non-political, we're non-partisan. You have to be that to be a 501c3. So it pulls you back. It pulls you back from maybe slipping now and then into that world. So the 501c3 helped us that way. And finally, the 501c3 is how people can donate to us, or what I like to think of as investing in Engage Estero, or investing in Estero through Engage Estero. Investing, people call donating in contributions, and there are a number of people in here that have donated, that were very generous and have been generous over the years. And I'm suggesting that if you expect or you think there's a value in Engage Estero, we need to have people go out and beat the drums, and we need to get some investments to keep us going. That'll help us, it'll help you. And on that, again, as Bob said, as Brawley said, thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you very much for doing whatever you did to help Engage Estero move forward, and hopefully you'll be around to continue helping us in the next decade or so. Thank you again and good night. Drink up. Yes.